Hello everyone. We have a question where it says that the diagram shows part of the curve y is equals to x in the bracket 9 minus x square, and we can also see in the diagram definitely we have a curve which is actually the equation of the curve mentioned in the question, and the line y is equals to 5x, and definitely we have a line and y is equals to 5x intersecting at the origin. Yes, we can see they are intersecting at the origin and the point R, and definitely they are intersecting at point R. Point P lie on the line. We can see over here point P actually lie on the straight line y is equals to 5x between O and R. Yes, it is between O and R, and the x coordinate of P is T. That means if I draw a line from here, definitely the x coordinate of P is T. Point Q lies on the curve. Okay, point Q lies on the curve and PQ is parallel to the y-axis. That means this line PQ is parallel to y-axis. That means if they are parallel, that means the x coordinate of P and Q both are same, because this PQ is a vertical line, and when we have a vertical line, the x coordinates are same on any point on the line. That means T is the x coordinate of P as well as T is the x coordinate of Q as well. According to the question, express the length of PQ. Length means finding the distance. Express the length of PQ in terms of T, simplifying your answer. So basically we have to find the distance. So very easy. They have given us the x coordinate of P, which was T. That means if x coordinate of point P is T, the equation of the line is y is equals to 5x, which was over here. That means instead of x I am writing T. That means y coordinate is 5t for the point P. So we can say that the x coordinate of point P is x is equals to T, and y coordinate is y is equals to 5t. Similarly, because Q also has the x coordinate as T, and we know the equation of the curve, which is y is equals to x bracket 9 minus x square. So instead of x over here, just place T over here, because the x coordinate of point Q is T. So instead of this x, write T, instead of this x, write T, and finally we have the coordinates of point P, x and y, the coordinates of point Q, x and y, and we need to find the length of PQ. Basically we need to find the distance, so we will use the distance formula. We know that the distance formula is x2 minus x1 with a square plus y2 minus 1 with a square, and finally a square root. We have the x coordinate of both the point P and Q and the y coordinates of both the point P and Q. So definitely we can take any one as x1. If we take the point P, the x coordinate of point P as x1, so definitely the y coordinate would also be y1. And similarly, if the x coordinate of point Q is x2, the y coordinate would be y2. Just place the value of x2 minus x1, that is t minus t, with a square, and we did the same over here, t minus t with a square, and after that y2 minus y1. So t in the bracket 9 minus t square, y2 minus y1, and minus 5t again with a square. T minus t is 0. So 0 square is 0, gone. And this square over here would cancel out with this square root, and we would be just left with whatever is there inside the bracket, that is t multiplied by 9 is 9t, and t multiplied by t square is t cube with a negative sign, and then we have minus 5t because this square and root is cancelled. So finally we have 9t minus 5t as 4t minus t cube, and the length of the point PQ in the form of t, as it was mentioned in the question. Express the length of PQ in terms of t and simplifying your answer, and finally we have mentioned it in the form of t, the length of PQ, and simplified it. In the B part, it says that given that t can vary, that means t can change, find the maximum value of the length PQ. Basically, we have to find the maximum length of PQ. Definitely, whenever the question says that finding maximum or minimum, keep in mind, go for differentiation. Go for differentiation and get the whatever the required result is. According to the question, find the maximum value of the length PQ, and the length of PQ we have just found as 4t minus t cube. Just differentiate it. Differentiate 4t minus t cube, which is over here. So differentiating the length PQ, differentiating 4t minus t cube would be 4 from here, and t cube would give us 3t square, because maximum, that means the stationary. So definitely for that we'll make this d by dt as 0, and after making this d by dt as 0, we could find the value of t. How? 4 minus 3t square would be equal to 0, and after rearranging the question we could get the value of t as 2 upon root 3, because 4 upon 3 is there, taking the square root of 4 as 2 and the square root of 3 as root 3. So finally t is equal to 2. So that means if we use this value of t and place it again in the value of the length, whatever answer we would get would be the maximum length as per the question. Given that t can vary, find the maximum value of the length of PQ. This t would give a maximum value, so just use this value of t, place it in the length of PQ, which is 4t minus t cube. At the place of t, place 2 upon root 3 over here and over here. After you have done that, just simplify it. So 4 times t means 4 times 2 upon root 3, 4 2s are 8 upon root 3 over here. 2 cube is 8 and root 3 cube, and root 3 cube means basically root 3 with a cube. We can simplify it by converting this 3 cube into 3 square into 3, and this 3 square will definitely be a proper square. It would be 9, and it would come out and turn out to be 3, and this 3 would be left inside the root, and finally this 3 cube with a root would be equal to 3 root 3. So instead of this root 3 with a cube, we have written 3 root 3. Over here it was root 3, over here it was simply 3 root 3. In order to convert these two fractions into a single fraction, I multiplied it by 3 at the bottom as well as at the top. 3 8s are 24. 24 minus 8 is 16, and 16 upon 3 root 3 is the answer. This answer is also acceptable if you write it in the paper, but if you wanted to remove this radical sign from the denominator, then definitely you have to go on with the rationalization process. That is, whatever 3 root 3 is, that multiply with that and definitely divide with that. So 16 3s are 48 with this root 3, and 3 3s are 9. Root 3 times root 3 is 3, and then you can 9 3s are 27, or you could cancel this 3 with 48, it would be 16, and finally we can say that 16 root 3 divided by 9. This is also one of the answer. Both the answers are acceptable. You can write 16 root 3 upon 9 as well as 16 upon 3 root 3. Both are acceptable for the given length of PQ, which is maximum.